Ladies and gentlemen, the hype has started and the hope is returning because the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine has dropped earlier this week and I am so excited! Look, the MCU has been in shambles for the last few years and I really think that Deadpool 3 will be the savior we have all been waiting for. Let's be real, if this movie somehow disappoints, which is less than likely, then that'll be a wrap, kaput. Done. But never mind that, this trailer was executed perfectly. It showed us the great return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and the team up that Deadpool fans have been begging for. See, throughout the last two Deadpool movies, there have been more than a few Wolverine references, and it would fill us with hope that one day we would see these two team up on the big screen. This trailer answers our prayers and also might answer even more. In this video, I'm gonna do something a little new for me and try to point out the things that I noticed and theories that I may have, and of course, geek the hell out while I'm doing it. And I also have a video from a few months ago explaining some theories that I already had back then. So if you want to click that little thing up there to go watch it, I'll appreciate you forever. So the trailer opens up in a Canadian bar with Wolverine sitting, and the bartender states that he knows who Wolverine is and that he's not welcomed here or anywhere. Now, when I heard this, my eyes opened mad wide because at this point I started to feel like I knew when and where this took place. After this, Deadpool shows up and tells Wolverine that they have stuff to do and that they need to leave. This kind of reminds me of the Wolverine cameo from X-Men First Class, which I thought was pretty neat. Then Deadpool loses his patience and says that they have to go. A little scuffle ensues between them and Logan brings out the claws. However, they don't pop out all the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when have we seen this before? Deadpool makes a remark that he noticed that this tends to happen with Wolverines over the age of 40, which tells me that Deadpool probably, while working for the TVA, has probably ran into more Wolverines in the past. This is probably how we will get to see more variants of the character. Wolverine then says that Deadpool doesn't want this fight, and Wade puts a gun to his face saying that he should reconsider, and Logan puts his head against the gun. Then the next scene opens up with our duo in the Void from the Loki series. Those of you who didn't watch the Loki series, first of all, what is wrong with you? And secondly, the Void is the place where people go when the TVA prunes different timelines. Here, we also see the 20th Century Fox logo in the ground. This is definitely where the big showdown between Deadpool and Wolverine takes place, which will be the fight of the century. Whenever these two fight in the comics, it's a bloodbath, which we need. Then we get a close-up of Hugh Jackman in a comic-accurate Wolverine costume. Bro, finally! I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but man, I'm so sick of him in a tank top and jeans. That has always bothered me. Then we hear Wade say that he is going to lose everything he cares about, and we see his friends from the last two films, but Wolverine says it's not his problem. But DP rebuttals with, "Is that what you said when your world went to pot?" Now, this line is important because it tells us that some big event has happened that essentially screwed up Wolverine's world, and that this Wolverine is from a different universe and is not from the universe that Deadpool is from. Now, hold on to this because this will feed into the theory that I have with Wolverine, because then we see a shot of Logan at essentially a gravesite for probably the X-Men. Then we see the character of Mr. Paradox saying that this Wolverine let his world down. Then we switch over to Deadpool and Wolverine fighting, which looks great, and switches to Deadpool asking Logan if he wants to talk about what may haunt him, and of course Logan not wanting to share, which I think is so ironic to see because I remember in X-Men 1 and 2 Logan always struggled with remembering his past, and nowadays Logan struggles with his own memories. There's no importance there, I just thought I could point that out. Then we see our duo walk out into a town, and we also see a place called Copperheads, which could be a hint to the character of Copperhead, and a place called Linefield Just Feet, which is a nod to Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld and how this man has been working for Marvel for years now and still cannot draw feet. Deadpool then states that he doesn't know how to save worlds, but Wolverine does. Logan says that he isn't a hero, but Deadpool says what everyone else thinks, which is that Wolverine is the X-Man. Then we see a couple more action set pieces of Deadpool and Wolverine slaughtering the TVA and of course each other. And then we see a character that is going to be a huge point to my theory, which is Cassandra Nova. Now, I'm not going to go in depth with her character because I might just dedicate a video to her when we get closer to the movie's release, but she is the twin of Charles Xavier and is just pure evil. She alone is responsible for the deaths of 16 million mutants. Then we see more scenes of what the dynamic between Deadpool and Wolverine will look like, and also a shot of Elias from Loki, which essentially is a monster in the void that eats anything it comes across. We next see a shot of the corpse of Ant-Man Scott Lang, which mirrors the time that we saw the corpse of Giant Man in the story Old Man Logan, and in front front of his helmet, we see a line of old X-Men villains. Now, I can't really make out every person, but I do see Azazel from X-Men First Class, Lady Deathstrike from X-Men 2, and Toad from X-Men 1, which is such a throwback. Now, this guy might be Sabretooth, but I mean, he's all covered up, so I don't know. Then we see a shot of what I think is the Red Skull's car, just a different variant of it, and we also get a shot of Dogpool, which in this movie, we are getting the Deadpool core from the comics. The trailer then reaches a close with more action set pieces of Deadpool ripping through the TVA and Wolverine fighting Cassandra Nova, which I think is going to be pretty cool, by the way. Then the part of this trailer that perfectly explains my thoughts on the buildup of this movie.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
They are jumping through a Doctor Strange portal. Now, whether it's Doctor Strange or Wong, I don't care. This is awesome. I think this is going to be at the end of the movie, and we will probably see Doctor Strange or Wong starting to recruit a team for Secret Wars, which would be amazing. Then at the very end, we see Blind Al and Wade talking about illegal substances and Disney. Okay, now that we broke this down, I have to say I'm very pleased. This trailer shows us enough without spoiling too much and does build up hype within me. This movie makes me nervous only because of the recent Marvel media we have been receiving, especially when it comes to movies. And I also heard rumors that Ryan Reynolds has been protecting this movie from dumb decisions from outside parties. But I trust Ryan Reynolds enough to make sure this movie is spectacular. Because without this man, we would have never even got Deadpool to begin with. And what also gives me more comfort is Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. Because after Logan, he hung up the claws. He was done, and Logan was a great conclusion to the character. So I feel as if he wouldn't have come back if the script was bad. And I know both Ryan and Hugh understand that this is the MCU's last chance. And since we are talking about Wolverine, it's time for a theory. Now, ever since the teaser trailer dropped, people have been speculating where or when is this Wolverine coming from. Now, I really have no clue because the teaser didn't give me much to work off of, but this trailer gives us a little bit more. Now, in the first few seconds of the trailer, when Logan is in the bar, the bartender says that he is not welcomed here or anywhere. So it sounds like a big event has happened where Wolverine was involved and is probably looked at as part of whatever happened. Then we have the shot of Logan kneeling at a gravesite, which is probably for the X-Men. The reason for this is because the gravestones look a lot like the gravestones we saw in one of the X-Men stories, Days of Future Past. But I don't think that event is what happened here. Then Deadpool says that Logan's world got screwed up. Now, let's park here for a second. All of the Deadpool movies take place in the rebooted X-Men universe. We know this from Deadpool 2 when we see those X-Men characters there. So this Wolverine is essentially from a different universe. Now, I started at this point to think about Logan the movie. It was never specified what universe this took place in. We obviously can assume that it also takes place in the rebooted universe because of the fact that this was the conclusion of Hugh Jackman's portrayal as Wolverine. And if you watch the movies in order, as messy as the timeline is for them, the story is pretty straightforward. But here's the problem. If Logan took place in the rebooted universe, then it would technically take place in Deadpool's timeline as well. But Wade said your world, as if the events of Logan never took place. But what if Logan took place in its own universe? Look, the X-Men timeline is not airtight, so they could introduce this idea of Logan being its own verse and it wouldn't bother me. Now, it could be possible that Deadpool just doesn't find out about these events till later on, which would fix this hole in my theory. Now I feel like this Wolverine is from before the events of Logan due to this shot right here. The only other time that we have seen Wolverine do this was in the Logan movie. In that movie, they explained that the X-Men died due to Professor X having a seizure, which ended up packing up the X-Men team and many more people. Now, this could be why the bartender says Logan isn't welcomed anywhere and why we see him at the gravesite later on. We later hear that he failed his world. This could be because of the fact that he could have prevented people from dying by getting rid of Xavier altogether. I say this because when Xavier has another seizure in the Logan film, it was taking long enough for them to essentially trank him or get rid of him. But what if Logan had a chance to stop it but didn't because of his close connection with Xavier? And because of the lack of action, essentially, his world went to shit. Now that's my first theory. My second one is a little more out there. But what if the reason that Charles began to have seizures in the first place is because of Cassandra Nova. Now I know I might be reaching for this one, but we never really get a reason as to why these seizures even started, and Cassandra Nova is known for being just as powerful as Charles. In the comics, she is known for her hatred for Charles due to their very complicated history that I will get into in a later video. And what is the worst thing that can happen to Charles? Him putting his children, aka the X-Men, in harm's way. Now I don't have much to tie this together, but this can be a great way to give us a bigger reason to care for her being in this film, because I don't think that she will survive past this movie. And I mean, she is known in the comics for the deaths of many mutants, and the reason for her and those X-Men villains being in the void could be because the world that Logan is from probably got pruned and sent here. This would be a huge twist that no one would expect, and also would be a perfect reason for us to absolutely hate her, and also give Logan the reason to have a change of heart and get his will to be a hero once more in Deadpool and Wolverine. Damn, that was a whole lot of yapping. Now I know I'm probably wrong, but I'm ready for this film to come out. Please, Ryan Reynolds, save us. Now I know I've been gone for a while, but I didn't forget you guys, and thanks again for 200 subs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you guys like this style of trailer reactions. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace!